2022, we have men, and especially women, encouraging and endorsing bad behavior, bad characters. I mean, bad morals are now okay as long as the man is doing it. And it is an abomination when the woman does it. 2022 upwards, me say, that love is not pain and pain is not love. So we are not going to die for anybody else's sins. Jesus has already done it.
I'm going to tell you the real secret about men going their own way. You got to have heart. You can't have walls and you can't have armor going, you'll never come in. I will never let you in again. That, unfortunately, will keep people very lonely and cynical for the rest of their life. And face it, this world is already hard as it is. So why the hell would you want to become a cynic? Why? So that you can survive? So that you can buy more cars, more stuff? And then what? And when you die, where does that go? What do you do with that stuff? Unto what? You're building unto what?
Now let me mention a couple of terms to you. Pickup artists, men's rights activists, trolls. Now, if you're a woman who's been on the wrong side of online harassment, it's likely that any or all of them will be familiar to you. They're all communities within the so-called manosphere. That's corners of the internet where men congregate to discuss their masculinity and what they see as the corrupting force of feminism.
I have this whole convention every year called the 21 Convention, where it's just teaching men how to be better, right? And on paper, that sounds great, right? That sounds like a great idea. But when it actually happens, when you see it, it's basically just a bunch of misogynistic dudes teaching other dudes how to treat women like shit.
Mgtow, Mgtow. Mediocre men to optimum women.
This extreme sense of Mgtow, and this is men who completely want to dissociate themselves from women altogether. They don't even want to communicate with any women, whether it be family, a neighbor, a friend. And right off the bat, I'm sure you guys can see why this is problematic. Instead of empowering women and being happy that women are being granted more rights when it comes to business, when it comes to politics, when it comes to all across the board, women are progressing, and we've been progressing. Now, men in this community find that to be threatening, which is absurd to me because we still live in a patriarchal society. And even in 2021, being born as a man is literally giving you an advantage head start in life. So the fact that they're anti-feminist is already just so disappointing to me.
Men Going Their Own Way is a group of men, it's an online movement of men who choose to be single. So they're eligible bachelors and they've decided to stay single, which means they won't be pursuing a long-term relationship. They don't want to get married, they don't want to have kids, they just want to stay single and improve themselves. And you're thinking, well, we're hardwired to connect and to like procreate. Why are these men choosing to be single? Well, from what I've read, it's from their frustrations. The frustrations from dating other women, the frustrations from, the gender bias that they see, the stereotypes.
Be, particularly scrutinizing when it comes to the type of women that they date. They no longer want to be considered the breadwinners, if you will, in their relationships. A lot of Mgtow men believe wholeheartedly in 50-50 relationships where both the man and woman carry equal weight in the relationship. A lot of these men are just absolutely refusing to give the time of day and validation, if you will, to women, or putting them on a pedestal is what people like to call it. They don't want to put women on a pedestal and make them the prize anymore. They're no longer wanting to assume their natural masculine role of provider and caretaker in a way, as far as like providing for the household and all of that stuff. They feel as though they shouldn't have to do that because all of these women out here are gold diggers and they're only after their money. And the only way that they're gonna settle down with the woman is if she's willing to stick in there and go 50-50. Or for some men, even her be the breadwinner so that he can sit at home on the couch, you know what I'm saying?
So no, you don't need women. For anything, really.
But Jessica, what about love?
Okay, here's the thing. Yes, I very much do believe that love is something natural we're all inclined to do. I do believe that love is the greatest thing on earth. But here's the thing. Love is not wanting. Love is not needing. Love in and of itself is giving. In fact, it's giving without expecting anything in return. Literally, when you truly love something, you don't motherfucking want anything in return or expect it or wait around for it and say, well, you know what, I did all this for you, so like this is what you have to give me back. Or even, you know what, I like bought all this shit for you and you like don't put out ever. So if you're in a state of like, I don't get it, like I did all these nice things for her, like why won't she like come back around and like sit on my bean? If you really feel like you need her to reciprocate that badly, you need to take a look at yourself and why you feel that.
Men Go Their Own Way, or Mgtow, have sworn off women completely, saying their lives are better and more productive and fulfilling without women in their lives at all.
So are women's lives.
Yes, I agree. But I mean, it's basically...
Oh man, you gotta give me a second to digest that.
It's basically though saying like, it's basically like women saying like, we have no interest in you, and them going, oh yeah, well, we don't have any interest in you first.
That feminism is good. I'm not a feminist. I think it's gotten too far out of control where women just want to be superior, and that to me doesn't do anything. It doesn't benefit society, but that's the same thing also with Mgtow for me. If you're on the other extreme end and you are out in the world with the mentality that every woman is f***ed up, or that every relationship that you get into, the woman just is going to want to f*** you over, then that's not positive either, because I do know people who have been married for 50, 60 plus years, many people who are happily married.
I think that feminists easily understand MRA ideology because we're working towards the same thing.
In this particular video, I will be explaining why I believe that men going their own way and feminism are exactly the same thing at the core, and why they're less about a social problem and more about an individual responsibility issue.
And the whole Mgtow movement usually came around, I think, around the Me Too movement. And the Me Too movement was obviously when women started talking about, you know, sexual assault and things like that. Now, some of them weren't telling the truth, which is really upsetting. However, we can't dismiss the truth based off the few that weren't telling the truth. And it's not fair, again, to put people in this box and have an extreme reaction to the ones and try and punish everyone for the few that actually were doing wrong.
Okay, so here's my question to you. Now, from what I understand, men join Mgtow because they have a huge fear of being put in a situation where the legal system is contributing to their pain, whether it's a fake rape or sexual assault allegation, or being put in a situation where divorce is making you feel miserable emotionally, financially, or otherwise. See, here's the thing though, like if you get to know a woman and you go on dates and you treat this woman with respect and she treats you back with respect because you chose a woman who has values first, before choosing her on her appearance, let's say, or on how attractive she is in other ways. If you choose someone for their values, meaning someone who's honest, someone who is humble, someone who believes in, you know, respecting people, respecting their opinions, why would you be afraid that this situation turns around into a legal night?
It came to my attention about a year ago about this new lifestyle that men are adopting called Mgtow, and it stands for Men Going Their Own Way. Now what this means is men of all backgrounds and all incomes are completely saying no to marriage, dating women in general, and then especially marriage and children. It's a lot, okay? And if you guys don't understand how serious this is probably one of the most detrimental things that has happened to any community, but especially, you know, me as a black woman in the black community. Now, for single women, this Mgtow movement means even the nice guys, as you guys like to call them, are completely saying no to marriage. They're saying no to relationships, having children. In the black community, 51% of black men are unmarried and childless. So you're telling me out of that majority of, you know, men that women would even want, 51%, which is the majority, even a majority of them are going to be saying no to dating, marriage, and children. They're going to be voluntary participants in this new lifestyle, and that means less families, that means less security from women, obviously.